One of the best ways to get a good handle on 360-degree video projects is to understand the difference between flat video and spherical video, or 360. When to use which one, and whether or not 360 even applies for your project. We're going to learn all that today in part 2, what is 360? So let's do a quick comparison of how 360 video compares to flat video. You know, flat video, the one you're looking at right now. Crop borders, very specific content in one frame. The standard stuff of media for the last 100 plus years. Within flat video, everything stays within the framework that you give it. People look at one particular square or one particular rectangle, and all the action that takes place in that rectangle is controlled by the director. I don't ever, as an audience, to that content, ever really look at things differently than what the director wants me to see. With 360, we're both liberated and constrained by the technology. So we're able to have the audience look any place they want. We're able to have them have a little bit more control, a lot more control, over what they can actually witness during the story. Anything that can see the camera while the filming is happening, the camera can see. And everything is in the shot. However, the limitations need to be considered as well. We can pan and direct the audience's attention toward the front. If we've got the video playing initially in front and they're sitting in a chair, they're going to witness that content for the most part in kind of a certain range, right? So we can take and pan and move the footage both while we're filming and after in post-production. But for the most part, if the audience wants to look in any direction they want, they do have that capability. We can zoom, we can pull the entire system in to give a sense of zooming in a moving shot. But these kinds of shots are really experimental, and a lot of 360 video producers really prefer the lock position to give people as much control and a sense of them controlling where their head's positioned as possible. The first question I get asked most often when people are new to 360 video is, what do you use 360 video for? What do you film in 360? And the answer is, anything that you would film in flat video, you can film in 360 video. The difference is how you tell the story and how your audience experiences that story. Once you understand that distinction, you're starting to think about 360 projects in a way where the way you're going to share that experience might be better served in 360 than it would be in flat video. What medium is going to work best for the way you want to tell your story? 360 does not replace flat video. It's not a TV versus radio type question. It's not a DVD versus CD type question. It's a new tool in a content creator's toolbox to tell stories with, and it's a medium unto itself. For a sense of presence and a way to put people literally in the place where you're telling your story, 360 is unmatched. It's an exciting new medium to create empathy, to create immersion, to put people in the experience. Flat video can tell it very rapidly and concisely. It can be a really clean story with specifically directed action and shots that lead people all the way through the narrative. What do you really want to do? What kind of a story do you want to tell? What kind of an experience do you want your audience to have? Is that better served with 360 or with flat video? The second question that I get most often is, what kinds of industries does 360 video work for? Where do you use 360 video? What industries have used it most often in the last few years? That's going to be tourism, that's going to be travel and experiences where you want to go to a different part of the planet and see what that's like. It's going to be live events, it's going to be applications for documentary and for storytelling, and news organizations are using it more and more frequently. Commercial applications are becoming more common all the time. They're going to put you in the seat of a car on the Autobahn. You're going to experience rounding those curves. You're going to be on the factory floor seeing how something is created. You're going to see a video created from an educational perspective, whether that be in a business, talking about safety or standards, or it's going to be within education itself, talking about a lesson plan, a curriculum. So these have seen the most attention and are probably the industries that are going to grow most, just because there's an established track record of content produced in those industries. So if you have questions that are specific to your industry and you're not sure if what you're going to shoot in 360 will work for your industry, ask someone who has been through 20 or 30 360 video shoots and produced projects for clients where in the end they've said, yes, that is exactly what our vision was and we're excited to show this to our audience. Ask those people if they think it would work. Because people who have been through that much experience are going to give you a very honest answer. They're not just looking to sell the idea of 360 onto everything. They're going to see if what you're asking for actually will result in the kind of reaction from your audience that you're looking for using 360. So lastly, it's important to know where your 360 content is going to be displayed in the first place. Where can we see it? There's a few distinct categories of where it can be seen and viewed, and I want to just go through those really quick with you. Mobile devices, desktop browsers, head-mounted displays like the Gear VR and Oculus and Vive, and then planetarium domes and projection domes in theaters. We'll talk about each one just briefly here. So mobile devices is an easy one because we all have them in our hands already. You don't have to sell anybody on the equipment they need to watch your videos. Ultimately, if you publish your 360 video to platforms like Facebook or YouTube or a number of online platforms that distribute this content, their app on people's phones will actively play the 360 video back in the correct format. So then you're looking at all the content in the phone as you move around. I'm looking over here, I'm looking over here. You get the idea. Desktops are kind of an obvious one. It's nowhere near as immersive. You're literally taking the mouse, looking at the video, hitting play, scrolling around. Not the most exciting way to view 360 content, but it is common, and it's another delivery point where people will witness your content. In platforms like Facebook, they get a lot of engagement. Even though it's being viewed through the browser, people comment and they ask questions about it, and they really get a kick out of seeing 360 video for your brand for the first time. The Gear VR and the Oculus and Vive, you essentially put it on your face and you're able to look in every single direction. You're still using the phone in the Gear VR or the Google Cardboard, holding it up to your face. You're able to look around and see inside the content as the video plays back. For the Vive and the Oculus that are dedicated tethered headsets hooked to a computer, you're seeing a higher frame rate, a little bit of distinction in resolution, and overall consistency of the playback. And once you add headphones to either or any of these devices, you lose yourself in the experience when you're watching it. You lose the sense of the reality you're actually in and see this new immersive experience totally capturing your attention. And it's powerful. Lastly, projection domes. Projection domes are an interesting option that's becoming more common. It's probably the least common right now, but people are starting to see the value of a social experience where more than one person's witnessing the content at the same time. You can give people a whole bunch of goggles and 20 people, 30 people, 100 people sit in a room and they watch the content at the same exact time. Inside of a planetarium dome or an IMAX theater, you can play it on a projected ceiling that people sit and watch together all at the exact same moment and point and comment and show each other what they're actually seeing. And it's a really interesting way to display your tech. Key with all of these is resolution and the final output that's the maximum size you can play back. On all of the head-mounted displays, desktops, and mobile phones, for the most part, it's about a 4096 or cinematic 4K resolution for the total width of your shot that's then wrapped around your head. And you're looking at about 1,000 pixels, or kind of a mediocre resolution currently. For the projection domes and the actual content that you're capturing with these cameras, you can produce as high as 8, 10, or even 12K content with some of the systems that are multi-camera that let you really show a high resolution, high quality image on those domes. Regardless of where you intend everyone to see your video, it's important to talk to your 360 producer about what you're envisioning as the key delivery point for your audience to actually see your video. There are distinctions between the head-mounted display and the browser and the mobile phone that can change the way the video is shot, the way the shots are timed in post-production, and the overall treatment and the feeling of your story. And you may even have to have a couple of different versions with the exact same footage, edited differently for different platforms. Talk to somebody who's walked through this process before for all these different platforms to get a good sense of how what you're asking them to film will work for each individual one.